Can somebody explain to me why Elon Musk, who is an unappointed bureaucrat now, I guess, is going through and cutting programs like how to improve our education system, medical research, all these things, and yet he is getting a $400 million contract for armored Tesla vehicles? In case you guys haven't figured it out by now, this administration is solely out to screw over middle class and poor families and enrich ultra wealthy people even more than they already are. A $400 million contract for armored Teslas? Now, all you
Hey YouTube, I just kind of wanted to come to you guys about the coverage that I've been watching this morning. So I've been watching coverage about Elon Musk and the Doge department, and it's the Department of Government Efficiency and all of the I'm not gonna say chaos, but everything that's happening regarding that particular department. And the department is designed apparently to cut wasteful spending in our government. Now, I don't know one person who would say that we do not have wasteful spending, right? The federal government runs very inefficiently. So when I first heard about this program, I wasn't necessarily against it. I'm like, okay, like, yeah, we need to know what's going on. We need full transparency. We need full oversight. We need full insight to how things are, how monies are being spent. You have the ability, and there is some transparency, but I wanted more transparency. I pay a lot of taxes and I want to know where all my dollars are going. So for me, I'm like, give me forensic transparency. I want to see it all. I want to know it all. And so when they were first talking about this program or this department that apparently Trump and Elon made up because it didn't exist, I was like, okay, that doesn't necessarily seem like a bad thing. Like, okay, let's see how it goes. I think what is now troubling to me is that it seems as if they're going after the programs that help disenfranchised people, poor people, black and brown people predominantly, but white people as well. People who, it's not even about race necessarily. It's about people who do not have money, access, resources. It seems as if they're going after those programs first. And so I was like, okay, let me look into this deeper, because let me see if because I guess from their perspective, they're trying to balance the budget, right? There's a lot of wasteful spending, a lot of programs that are running inefficiently, and we're pumping a lot of money into those programs. So we need to go in, we need to see how we can be more productive and more efficient in how we spend money on those programs. Okay, cool, that's fine. I'm in agreement with that. But when you're talking about the Department of Education, when you're talking about just things that are going to negatively affect and harm poor people, why are we going after those programs first? And it seems as if those are not the programs that you're going to gut. And he said, I think his exact words, he said we need to cut, like basically cut these programs altogether. But those are not the programs that we're spending the most money on. So we're not spending the most money, like from my understanding, the Pentagon and things like that is where most of the money is being spent. And I am not advocating for money to be gutted that's going to make us inefficient, make us not as productive on a world stage. I'm saying if we are going to go after, if we're trying to save money, wouldn't you just think about it from just like a very low-level humanistic approach, right? If you're trying to save money in your household, you look at your biggest bill, right? Your biggest bill, and you see how you can eliminate money from what you push out the most money you push out. How is it that I can go from the top down, not the bottom ups? It's so weird to me. It's like you want to gut these programs, and it's like even if you were to gut these programs, you're still not going to balance the budget, because these programs, we're not spending the bulk of the money on these programs. So it's so weird. It seems as if And the reason that I'm speculating is because there's no transparency. They're not telling us. I went to the Doge website. There's nothing. Cause it's like, explain to I'm on board with balancing the budget. I am on board with kind of ridding out like wasteful spending. So you got me with that. But the fact that there's no transparency, there's no oversight, there's no insight, it's like you got it seems like you guys are just cutting programs that are going to negatively affect poor people. And it's weird because Trump did so well with working class and poor people. And I'm like, do people really understand what they voted for? Like, you're voting for programs that your vote is going to cut programs that helps you. And then Elon Musk, there's another thing. He just got apparently a $400 million contract from our government for like those fucking Tonka truck looking cars or whatever. Or people help me understand it. Help me understand it, because I can't take a super deep dive or research a whole lot, because there's no transparency. There's nothing out there. They're not giving us any information. So everybody is speculating. Everybody, and I don't want to jump on one side or the other. What I do not want to happen is I don't want the people who have the least to be negatively affected the most. So that's my stance. My stance is I am not a person who it's like anything that the right does is horrific, anything that the left does is horrific, anything the right does is great. I am not a partisan person. I am just a common sense person who believes that it is our obligation to take care of the least among us. I believe that. I don't believe that you should just give people a free pass and just let people not work and let people be unproductive. But it's a lot of people that are in pain and they're trying and they need resources and they need help. And we are Americans. In this country, we are supposed to take care of our neighbors if they need us to. Like, we're supposed to be in this together. Like, that's the thing that America is supposed to be about. I mean, we know differently, but that's what we push. We push that we are a nation that takes care of the least among us. And it doesn't seem like that's what this administration is doing, because you're cutting, or you are proposing to cut funding from federal workers and the Department of Education and all of these things, all the while Elon gets a $400 million contract from our government. That it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. And it's weird to me that people who are going to be negatively affected by these things are the ones that put these people in power. And on one hand, I think to myself, like, okay, people voted for this. Elections have consequences. We know that. But then again, I'm like, did people really vote for this? Did they really know that? I mean, they talked about it. So that's another thing, because I'm sitting here trying to think through it, and I'm like, the one thing that I can say is that Donald Trump said what he was going to do. He went and said, well, oh no, I don't know what Project 2025 is. I have absolutely no idea what people are talking about. And if you read Project 2025, what he's doing now, that's the plan. It's the blueprint. He's literally doing things that was in Project 2025. So the information was there. Whether or not people believed him when he said that he wasn't affiliated with Project 2025, he wasn't going to do anything with, I don't know. But the information was out there. Project 2025 was published in April of 2023. The election wasn't until November of 2024. It was out there for a year. What is that, like a year and 7 months? Almost 2 years. People had access to this information. Now, whether or not, like I said, Donald Trump did come out and say, I have nothing to do with it. I don't know Project 2025 people. Whatever. Like, And it was already proven that JD Vance he wrote the forward to like the guy who was the author of Project 2025, his book or something like that. It was obvious that they were in connection, but Trump kept trying to, and people, I mean, the man has a cult-like following. I've never seen anything like it. It actually scares me, and maybe because I've watched so many like those like cult shows or whatever, like people being in a cult. It seems very similar to me. I'm just being honest. Like, you watch those shows, like, what, I don't know if they come on the ID channel. I don't know what channel they come on. But you watch those shows and you see people who just blindly follow someone. And I don't understand it because I'm skeptical of everything. It's just the way I'm wired. So it's like, regardless to how much I like you, I'm always going to be like, yeah, because I don't understand it. I can't blindly follow anyone. I can't. There's some politicians that I like. I like a lot. I like Jasmine Crockett a lot. But I am not going to follow her every word. I don't understand the obsession and this whole thing of people treating Trump like he's God. It's weird. It's sick and it's weird. So I don't understand it. But the man said he had absolutely nothing to do with it. He didn't know anything about Project 2025. He wasn't associated with it. And now he's literally following the blueprint of Project 2025 and his executive actions, this whole DOGE thing, the Department of Government Efficiency. It's just like, I don't know. Because a part of me, if I'm being very honest, a part of me feels sorry for people who were misled, and then a part of me don't, because it's like the information was out there, like you had access. Now, whether or not you believe Trump and you think everything he says is true, which is proven not to be the case, but it's like you played yourself, and elections have consequences. So when I see people making videos talking about, oh, well, I regret my vote and we all got to stick together. No, no, we don't. I'm not sticking with you. You made your bed. You gonna lie in it. Like, because that's the thing. It's like you can't do something and then once it blows up in your face, it's like, well, we just need to stick together. I'm not that mature, baby. Nope, you did what you did. And whatever negative effect you're feeling, I am not that mature. I love God, but I am not in the place in my journey where I am mature and wholesome enough to be like, I feel so bad for you. You made your bed, baby. It is what it is. Now we all got to deal with your fuck shit. And you want me to feel bad because you didn't do your research? Or because you couldn't even imagine seeing a black woman in that office that you voted for this. And now, like federal workers, some federal workers are making TikToks and stuff like that and saying they regret their vote because they could potentially be out of a job and all of these things. And it's like, okay, that's what you voted for. So, and I am not saying the other side, the Democrats are just always, I have my issues with the Democrats as well. I do. But when you are voting, and it's very sad and it's very unfortunate, but it's like, it's always like the lesser of two evils kind of thing. And it is my belief that Americans made the wrong choice this time. And we're all going to have to deal with it. But wanting me to feel bad because you voted for a man who is now proposing to take your job, I'm sorry. You made your bed. And elections have consequences. But with this Doge thing, I was on board at first. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna lie. I was on board. I was just like, okay, yeah, the government is very inefficient. And I pay a whole lot of taxes. We need to investigate this shit. We need to look into it. We need to see how we can save money and resources. We need to look, like, I was on board. But now that there's no transparency, now that they're not telling us anything, and the things that they are telling us, it just seems like, how are you going to balance the budget eliminating those programs? Because those programs are not the programs that we're spending the most money on. So it just doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, like I said at the beginning, I was on board. Yes, go see how they spending my money. Yep. I want you to investigate. I want full transparency. I want oversight. I want all of the things because I need to see how they spending my money. And now we're not getting the transparency. And when they do talk about what they are going to eliminate, like the Department of Education, that is not where we're spending most of the money. So even if you were to do that, which I think is asinine and you shouldn't eliminate the Department of Education. I'm pretty sure there needs to be some modifications. I'm pretty sure that things need to be changed or whatever the case, but eliminate it altogether, no. So I think in terms of like more reimagining and fixing, but not eliminating, but I'm pretty sure there's wasteful spending. So go in there and investigate what the wasteful spending is, come and tell the American people who pay the taxes what you want to eliminate and what you're trying to do, and then go from there. But that's not happening. And you're going after the programs that's going to negatively affect poor people the most, and you're not going to balance the budget when you're doing it, because that's not where we're spending the most money. It just don't make sense. It's not even a matter of, because people think it's like one or the other, like, oh, well, you're just against Trump and Elon. No, I was on board originally. We have inefficient, like we are spending money on crazy stuff, and it's the reason why our taxes is so much. So yes, go and investigate and see how them people spending my money and how we can save money and we can balance the debt and all of these things. Balance the budget. Go see what's going on. But they're not telling us anything. They're not telling us anything. There's no transparency. And you're going after programs that poor and disenfranchised people need. And that's not going to balance the budget. All the while, Elon gets a $400 million contract for them ugly ass cars. This doesn't make sense. Y'all help me in the comments, because maybe I'm missing something. But the little deep dive that I was able to do, considering they don't have a whole bunch of information out there, so you can't research, because they're not giving us the information. But what the research that I was able to do and what I looked into, it doesn't make sense to me. And maybe I'm missing something. Because like I said, the programs that you are going after, those are the programs that poor people need. And even if you were to eliminate those programs, that's not going to balance the budget, because those are not the programs we spend the most money on. This is illogical. It doesn't make sense. And Elon gets $400 million. Help me out. Maybe I'm missing something. Because it seems nefarious to me. It don't seem like this is for the betterment of the American people. Especially if you don't tell me how you're going to go about doing something. I'm just supposed to trust that you're going to do it right. And why would I do that? So I am very, very interested in this, because apparently they're going to have a Doge committee, and I believe Jasmine Crockett is on it. And, you know, that's my girl. I'm definitely going to watch. I'm going to watch every single day if I can. However, if I have the bandwidth, that's going to be the oversight committee that I'm going to watch the most, because like I said, originally I was on board. Our federal government is very inefficient, and they spend money on bullshit. So yeah, go in there and look into things, but also give us the transparency. Also tell us what you're doing. And also don't cut programs that the least among us need, the people who have the least. That's going to harm people who are already in financial distress and horrible situations. Why start with those programs? Especially, again, because those programs are not the programs we're spending the most money on. It doesn't make sense. That's my little take. like I said, I'm going to make sure to watch everything that I can find, do all the research that I can. And then when the Doge have their oversight committee, I'm going to make sure as much information as they put out there, because I'm really, really interested to see how all of this is going to go. But right now it looks suspect to me. It just does. It does, because it's not making sense logically. From my understanding, what we spend the most money on, and I'm not advocating for anybody to cut funding to the Pentagon. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying it apparently that's where we spend the most money. So look into inefficiencies there, because we can save more money by going going there and looking into that and how we're going to save money and resources if from the biggest, what we spend the most money on. That's one of our biggest debts. That's where we spend the most money on. So like I said, I'm not because Lord, people going, you saying to cut funding for the Pentagon? It's not what I said. It's not what I said at all. But that's where we spend the most money. So you would think that you would start where you spend the most money. It's the same thing. It's just if in your household, when you don't have a lot of money and you're trying to balance your checkbook or whatever the case, you look at what you spend the most money on. And more than likely it's your mortgage or your rent. So you can't get away from that. So then you go to the next thing. Maybe it's your car notes. Maybe I have 2 car notes. Maybe I need to downsize. But you start from the top, what you spend the most money on, and you work your way down. You don't go to a debt that's $50 a month unless you absolutely don't need it and be like, well, I'm going to eliminate this. That's not going to solve your problem. That's only $50 a month. You may have a deficit of $1,800 a month. You eliminating that $50 bill is not going to put a dent in that $1,800 deficit that you have. So you start at the top. What they're doing doesn't make sense. But y'all let me know what y'all think, because like I said, my little deep dive that I was able to do, considering they're not giving us all the information, but what I was able to look into, I was just like, yeah, this doesn't make sense to me at all. I was like, maybe I'm missing something, because this shit don't make no sense to me. Y'all had me at the beginning with the program. Go see how those people spending my money. But y'all, Elon, you lost me, baby. Especially because you just got $400 million. How did that work out? I'm gonna talk to you guys later. I'm gonna do some more research. I'm gonna watch some more news. I'm gonna research because I'm trying to figure it out. I really am. Because right now it's looking very suspect to me. Talk to you guys later.